All right, number 13. We have 2x squared minus 4x equal to t. Says in the equation above, t is a constant. The equation has no real solutions. Which of the following could be the value of t? All right. So for this question, we're working with a quadratic equation. And this equation, we want it to have no real solutions. So to begin, before we solve for the quadratic equation, we had to first set it equal to 0. Okay, so let's just go ahead and move over to t. So t is a constant, just means t represents a number. Okay, so let's just move it over. So do minus t on both sides, set it equal to 0, get 2x squared minus 4x minus t equal to 0. Okay, 2x squared minus 4x minus t equal to 0. So this will be our equation now, set it equal to 0. And if you want the solution, the equation to have no real solution, here we can figure this out, right? Whether it has two solutions, one solution, or no solution. We can use the concept of determinant, okay, to help us figure this out. Determinant. All right, so what is the determinant? So remember under the quadratic formula, so there's a part under the square root. Okay, if you recall, the quadratic formula is negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Right, so the part under the square root here, this is called the determinant. And so this here tells us how many solutions we have. Okay, so what happens is if b squared minus 4ac is positive, if that's greater than 0, then that means we have two real solutions. All right, determinant positive, we get two real solutions. If the determinant b squared minus 4ac is equal to 0, then we only get one real solution. At determinant equals 0, we get one real solution. And the determinant is a negative number, is less than 0, then we get no real solution. Okay. In that case, we will get imaginary, but it's no real solution. Okay, we get two imaginary solutions. So for this question, we wanted to have no real solution, right? So then we know b squared minus 4ac should be less than 0. So we can actually use this to help us solve for the possible t value. Okay, so we can go and plug in the numbers into this inequality. So b is the number in front of x. So in this case, that's negative 4. So it'll be negative 4 squared minus 4 times the a value, which is 2, times the c value, which is negative t. Okay, and this is less than 0. Okay, to solve from here, we get negative 4 squared is 16 minus 4 times 2 is 8 times negative t less than 0. And then negative 8 times negative t is it'll be positive 8t, right? So it'll be 16 plus 8t less than 0. And then we can go ahead and do minus 16 on both sides. Yeah, 8t is less than negative 16. And lastly, solve for t, we divide by 8 on both sides. Okay, so t should be less than negative 2. Right, t is less than negative 2. So that's what we're looking for. T value had to be smaller than negative 2. So which one out of the answer choices, which one could work? Well, smaller than negative 2 had to be negative 3 then. All right, so that's the only one that will work for this one. Okay, so letter A will be our final answer for question 13. Yeah, so this one, make sure we know the concept of determinant. So for quadratic equation, we get either 0 solution, one solution, or two solutions. So how do we know, right? We can use the determinant to help us figure it out. Okay, so we don't necessarily have to solve for x. We can just use a determinant to figure out how many solutions we get.